Good evening. Welcome to QUT Web News.
Good evening.
The war between Queensland taxis and rideshare app Uber is heating up. Allegations have emerged of fights between drivers and both sides are less than apologetic.
An expletive-ridden rant from a Northside Brisbane taxi boss encouraging militant action against Uber drivers. The message, posted to a public social media page, comes after alleged attacks against Uber drivers over the long weekend. The Taxi Council responded by calling for state government intervention.
My fear is if the government doesn't act quickly, then rogue individuals may decide to take the law into their own hands, and this won't result in a good outcome for anyone.
The Taxi Council denied any link to cabbies, shifting the blame back to Uber.
I say to Uber, if you were not acting illegally, we wouldn't be here today having this conversation.
In a statement to QUT News, Uber expressed its disappointment at the council's response. They fear the violence against Uber drivers is part of an intimidation campaign. Cabbies too don't agree with using fists.
No, that's violence is not a good thing.
They took my business. Yeah, but it's not good if fighting is not good.
But with 3 alleged assaults in one morning, the battle is reaching fever pitch. While both the Taxi Council and drivers have been quick to decry any form of violence, there certainly is a lot of animosity towards the rideshare app.
For no reason should there be assaults. Equally, for no reason should someone have to sit and watch while others conduct illegal activity blatantly in front of them.
Both sides say a solution needs to be reached, and fast. Nick Kelly, QUT News.
Police were called to a noisy protest by truckies outside of Brisbane Coles today. It's part of an ongoing campaign over pay and conditions. Some drivers even took their industrial action inside the store.
The truck drivers targeted Coles at New Farm in a small but passionate protest.
Coles, you can't lie. Every year 300 die.
They're accusing the supermarket giant of compromising their safety.
What do we want? Safe rates. When do we want it? Now.
Coles are putting more and more pressure on the transport industry, pushing rates down to such a limit where it's forcing drivers to do unsafe practices.
Not satisfied with merely making a noise, the truckies went inside the supermarket and filled up 2 trolleys with groceries. They then demanded a 30-day account, which they claim is only fair.
They're under pressure now and getting paid underpaid, so they have to wait 30 days for their money, so all their petrol bills get paid on a weekly basis.
Store security called police, but there were no arrests.
Coles declined an on-camera interview, but a spokesperson for the company said Coles adheres to the industry code of conduct. Coles also said it doesn't directly employ its drivers, but goes through contractors.
Toll and Linfox can't do much except if they want their contract, just have to say yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir.
As for Coles' major competitor, the TWU says it has no such complaints with Woolworths. Ali Campbell, QUT News.
The eastern half of Australia is on high fire alert tonight. Total fire bans are already in place in Victoria and Tasmania, and emergency authorities warn the situation could get worse.
Australia's fire chiefs are predicting a dangerous fire season ahead. Blazes have broken out in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia and Tasmania. Temps are rising well over 30 degrees, warmer than expected at this time of year. This is how the bushfire threat looks into 2016. More bushfires than normal and more people at risk. In Queensland alone, 60 fires were reported over the weekend. Authorities are still monitoring a dozen outbreaks. In Victoria, fires have already razed 1 house, and fire crews there are bracing for a southwesterly change expected to bring strong and dangerous winds. In South Australia, fires have already destroyed more than 600 hectares of bushland. Port Lincoln's National Park has been closed.
It's really about making sure that anyone who's in the area gets out safely, or anyone who's thinking of the area decides that today's not the right day to go.
It's hoped cooler conditions predicted for later this week will provide some relief. In New South Wales, at least 80% of the state is under a very high fire danger warning and could be on alert for the rest of the week. All residents are encouraged to check their local fire service websites for updates. Alexandra Keep, QUT News.
A student from the same school as the teenage gunman who shot dead a police force veteran at Parramatta is in police custody. Officers spoke to the student outside the Arthur Phillip High School over allegations he posted threatening comments about police on his Facebook page. The teen's school bag was searched and he was handcuffed and taken in for questioning. Security was heightened as colleagues of Curtis Cheng returned to work for the first time since Friday's attack.
And getting back to work, yeah, showing that they can't win.
Floral tributes continued to be laid throughout the day.
Young mental health patients now have access to a new facility in Brisbane. The Youth Assessment Centre diagnoses problems and provides care for young people.
It's the first of its kind in Brisbane and was opened by the Governor in the lead-up to World Mental Health Day tomorrow. The new centre at Taringa provides guidance and care for those with mental health issues.
Mental illness is heavily stigmatised in Australian society, and schizophrenia has fared particularly badly.
Health workers say the younger age group with problems from depression to anxiety aren't getting the attention they need.
Mental health issues for young people are just not addressed effectively at the moment.
The Youth Assessment Centre brings together some of the most renowned specialists in their field.
1 in 4 young Australians suffers a mental health issue before the age of 25. And nearly half of those remain untreated.
Parents are urged to talk to their children more, observe their actions, and seek help if they're worried about their behaviour.
When they notice some change in their young person's behaviour, their son or daughter, they shouldn't ignore it.
Clear Thinking hopes its new centre will provide some answers. Carissa Kemp, QUT News.
The Roar is determined not to let the club's financial dramas affect its performance on the field during the A-League season. Brisbane kicks off its campaign this week against the Western Sydney Wanderers.
The Roar players have faced an off-season of uncertainty over the financial future of the club's owner. The new coach is happy that the focus is finally back on football.
It hasn't been easy, but I have to say the players have been brilliant.
The team's marquee player and the man many consider the best to have played in the A-League, Thomas Broish, is confident the new coach can continue the club's winning ways.
We had so many injuries, but that gave our young players a chance to actually step up, and they've done it already, so there's a lot of potential and we're really confident.
We've got a lot of winners in our team, and last season they didn't do as well as they would have liked, and so it was easy for me to come in and motivate them on the football side of things.
Veteran goalkeeper Michael Theo is also keen for this new season to kick off, confident the Roar can match the A-League's big guns, Melbourne Victory and Sydney FC.
Yeah, in terms of morale, it hasn't been too difficult job for John to come in. As you said, last year was disappointing, and for us, we're used to success.
The Brisbane Roar play their first A-League match against the Western Sydney Wanderers at Parramatta Stadium this Thursday night. Despite a difficult off-season, the team remains optimistic. The first home game is against Central Coast on Sunday week. Bianca Banchetti, QUT News.
Football fever continues to grab sports headlines with a crucial World Cup clash this week. Some big AFL stars stepping down, and Broncos star Ben Hunt facing more bad news.
Brisbane halfback Ben Hunt, already haunted by the mistake that probably cost the Broncos the grand final, will be suspended for the first week of the 2016 season.
We're all good, life goes on. We're all feeling a bit down, but we'll get back up and we'll be ready next year.
The Broncos' number 7 accepted a 1-week suspension for a dangerous throw on Cowboys centre Kane Linnett, opting not to fight the charge. Hunt's clean slate at the judiciary and early guilty plea means he will only miss 1 round. In AFL, Hawks defender Brian Lake and ruckman David Hale have both announced their retirement after playing a key role in the club's 3rd premiership title.
To play in 3 premierships, to meet so many wonderful people, it's changed me, not just on the field but off the field as well.
And in rugby, Wallabies vice-captain Michael Hooper may be suspended over a dangerous clear-out in the match against England. But the win has given the team new confidence.
It just sort of instills a bit of belief that what we've been doing and that the groundwork that we've sort of put in is paying off.
Australia plays Wales on Sunday. Chloe Tenorio, QUT News.
Time now for a look at the weather. It was fine and hot in Brisbane today, but we should see cooler temps by the end of the week. Around southeast centres, Brisbane reached a top of 31, 29 on the Gold Coast, 3 degrees cooler on the sunny coast. And Ipswich was slightly cooler today than yesterday's scorcher. Around the nation tomorrow, Sydney, a top of 23, with a cool change expected for the afternoon. Possible showers in Canberra, partly cloudy in Melbourne and Adelaide. A top of 28 expected in Perth, and believe it or not, possible showers for Darwin. Back to Queensland. Heating up in Mount Isa, 34 degrees tomorrow. Expect a shower or two in Cairns, sunny and 29 degrees in the Cowboys' hometown. It should be partly cloudy tomorrow in Mackay, Rocky and Bundaberg. And the outlook for Brisbane. Tomorrow 30 and partly cloudy. Thursday, possible showers should cool temps a bit, and by Friday, the maximum should be around the mid-20s. That brings you up to date with the weather.
And that's all the news we have for now.
We're back tomorrow with more QUT Web News. Goodbye.
Goodbye.